Hey, this is Bunny. Follow along as I paint an Elven Pillar. It is made of clear, very clear, translucent plastic. So with this kind of thing, I just need to get some more paint. My little pile of gray is not very much. There we go. I need more gray than I had on my little pile. I didn't put enough on. But with something like this, you need to prime with a clear primer, preferably, and I would apply it with a brush instead of a spray primer. And I would not prime the areas that you want to leave clear. Now, if you want to leave the entire thing clear, then you wouldn't do anything. And if you wanted to paint the entire thing so that you did not have any clear spots, you could just prime with black. And you could prime with black if you're very careful with a brush. Don't use a spray unless you want to paint the whole thing. Okay? What we're doing here is we are just going to paint where we want to cover, and I'm not going to do too many colors. I am going to do just 3 or 4. I think I'm going to do some very light dry brushing on the areas I'm leaving clear, just to almost jazz them up. Maybe. I haven't actually gotten that far in my thought process. This is a pillar, so I'm using the gray I like. This is my favorite gray paint. It's not expensive. I'm not even sure where I got it. But I really like it because it is kind of got this grit to it. Kind of got this grit to it. I'm not painting the flames. That's the part I'm avoiding. I'm gonna paint everything except the flames. I'm gonna be careful in here because I'm going between the flames and the stone. And the thing with that is I don't want to get it on the flames. So I'm being very careful around the edges. I'd rather wreck my brush than accidentally paint those flames. Be honest. Carefully around the flame. It's one of those few times when I'm being very careful because I don't want to hit these flames. And this flame kind of juts around. Okay. And sometimes it's hard to see on the clear, so you're kind of left trying to figure out where you can paint. So you gotta be paying a lot of attention. That's okay. I have a fan running in here because it's a little humid, so if you see a little bit of the bristles rustling, it's because I've got a pretty powerful fan pointed at me. It's humid, and I don't want this to take forever to dry, so I've got a pretty good fan going. So you might also hear it on the mic a little bit, but that's because it's so freaking humid today. It's been humid all week. Because we got so much rain, so now there's just water everywhere. There we go. So again, I'm starting this without a ton of planning. Like, I haven't planned this out much, so I think I'm going to do gold accents, mostly because the other clear pieces I've done gold accents. And yes, for the person who asked, I do have a campaign that is using all these that is going to use all these Elven runes coming up. That's why this is what I've been painting the last couple weeks. Mostly because as long as I paint one piece a week, they'll be painted before we start the campaign, or at least before we need the pieces. right now. It's just, again, we're gonna go carefully because I don't want to get the flames. Okay. Around the flames. But I haven't done much dry brushing on the other pieces, so I don't know if I want to this time. Carefully around the flames. Careful. The edges. I didn't get this whole area underneath. That's okay. We're fixing it. I didn't see it. I don't know why I didn't see it. There's this whole side, and I want to. This is really smooth. I want to give it a little texture, so I'm adding a little extra paint and giving it, because this paint has texture already. This paint has sand in it, so it already will have some texture, and I don't like how smooth that underside is. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. We will come back, and I think I'm gonna go add some gold accents. This one's not gonna take very long. Okay, the actual painting process is not gonna take long. The drying process takes forever on these kind of pieces, but the actual painting process will be fairly short. So we'll come back when that's dry. Okay, we're back. This is pretty dry, so we're just gonna get some gold accents on here. Not a ton, right? We don't want to overdo it. So let's just, I do kind of want this bottom part of the pillar. Let's kind of get this bottom part of the pillar in gold. Just because I think it's pretty. Yeah. There we go. There we are. One here. Again, we're painting without really a plan. You don't need to always have it planned out. It's okay if you just kind of go with your instincts and kind of just put some colors on it. You can always paint over it. If you really hate the color you're using, just paint over it. It's really not that big a deal. You could just hit it with a different color. I'm going to paint this gem in the middle gold because I think it'll look nice. I was going to paint it like a diamond, but then I'm like, nah. I don't want too many colors competing with each other here. So we'll use specifically gold because that's what we're doing with the other bits of this. So that's what we're gonna do. Get this on. It would stop being so humid in this room. Right. I do have a dehumidifier running, but that only helps so much. Like, there's a limit to how much your dehumidifiers will help. I'm just trying to decide. No, I think I'll leave it stone. I was gonna decide the plate on top that holds the fire if I should paint it gold, but I don't think I would appreciate that. I think that would look too nitpicky. Okay, almost done with the gold. I'm literally not doing too many colors. I mean, how many colors could you do on this? You look at it and you go, there's not a ton there, and there isn't. Right? There's just a little bit. That's literally all the gold I'm doing. Just hit it with some gold so it doesn't look quite so boring. We'll be back when that dries for yet another pass of color, but this time I'm going to use a wash, and then I'm going to come back with a dry brush. It's literally just a handful of steps. I don't want to spend too much time on scenery that's really only going to be in one campaign. Okay, we're going to start adding our wash. I'm just using a nice dark sepia. And yes, I'm putting it on the exposed plastic. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want it to soak into the grooves of the translucent plastic and kind of make them pop a little bit. Otherwise, you kind of can't see the definition. Okay, so we're just going to do that. It only takes a few seconds. Like I said, don't fuss with terrain too much. Unless it's a major piece that you're going to use more than once, just kind of paint it and go. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding my wash. I'm going to paint it and go. We'll come back when that side's dry. We'll give it a flip. All right. Flip it over. And do it again. That's how you apply. Just glob the wash on there. You don't have to be that careful with a wash unless you're very particular about how that particular piece accepts the wash. So I'm literally just globbing it on because I don't care. As long as some of these parts show up at the end. Okay, literally it only takes a few seconds. And now we have to let that dry. A couple seconds of work, 2 hours to dry. We'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing. Just the barest little bit. So I start moving my brush ahead of time, and then I just slowly bring the parts I want to dry brush to meet it. And I'm just doing a little bit here, a little more paint. Remember, with dry brushing, you want as little paint as possible. If you think you have enough paint, you probably have too much. Okay? That's how dry brushing works. So I'm just getting a little bit of silver on here, just to make it glisten. I don't want too much. I do not want too much. And the harder you press, or the more contact you have, the more paint you deposit. So we don't want too much. We just want a little gleam. Not too much. Very, very light. Just a little on the tips here. There we go. And we're going to let that dry, and we'll come right back. And there we go. As finished as I care to make it. Remember, don't spend too much time on terrain you're not going to use very often. I do have paint under my fingernail. Good for me. Anyway, don't spend too much time on pieces you're not going to use very often. Just paint them and let them go. Do paint them though, because they do look great. Well, that is enough for me here today. I hope you'll be back with us next time. Bye!